What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, and I'm here to bring to you, my reaction to the whole news of the Bryce Underwood commitment or flip. And before I get started, if you can, please leave a like on the video, as it definitely helps the channel. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this whole news. Are you shocked that he flipped? Were you confident that it was going to happen? Are you surprised at the alleged amount that Michigan is willing to pay for him to play? Were you more happy and content with the old way of NIL? Or is this the new way and you're happy with it? Let me know about that in the comment section below. And if you enjoy my content, definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel. So, unless you've been living under a rock, the news hit basically early evening, late afternoon, about the news about Bryce Underwood flipping. To me, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, I've heard the rumblings. I've watched a lot of the shows, the Michigan shows, where, guys had different levels of confidence. You had On Through with E.G. Holland saying he was about 35%. You had the Voice of College Football guys. They were at 70%. You had Isaiah Hall. He was at about 65%. So, he had varying levels of confidence. And, the fact that, you had one at 35, one at 70, it kind of leaves you in between. I think the one that really gave me to really think that this was a legit thing to happen was Isaiah Hall saying that he was at 65%. So it was almost like these guys knew something was going on, but just didn't want to say it because it could mess things up. And that gave me, a level of confidence that maybe this is actually going to happen. And lo and behold, Thursday comes around and I'm just, had no idea. I was just clicking on YouTube, and then all of a sudden I see on YouTube that Bryce Underwood has flipped. I was like, what? No way. And then watched the video, and lo and behold, it was true. So, what do I think about this? Personally, and I remember I did a video about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was about Donovan Peoples-Jones committing to Michigan, and how him turning blue was going to be a game changer. And in retrospect, to be honest with you, he didn't really even have that much of an impact on Michigan football. I mean, he was a decent player and all, but I mean, he didn't really do a whole lot. Not to say that he wasn't a good player, but it wasn't the game changer that I thought it was going to be. But I think this is a lot different. And the reason why I think it's a lot different is just for the mere fact that, Donovan Peoples-Jones was a wide receiver. Yeah, he was a 5-star, highly rated, highly recruited, but he wasn't the the player that was going to be in the mix to make a difference. He was a playmaker, but not the ultimate playmaker. And that's the difference between that recruitment and this recruitment. You got a guy that's the potential to be a generational talent coming in. And, as sad as it is, I think that what happened this season, and I know it's been a rough season. I know we've struggled. I know we look bad. But honest to God, I think the best thing to have happened to us was for this to happen. And the reason I say this is because up until this point, nobody in Michigan was really taking the NIL scene seriously. I mean, there was rumblings, there was talk about the NIL stuff, there was, things in the works, it was coming down the pipeline, they're working on stuff. There was different things that they were doing, but there was nothing serious, there was nothing revolutionary, there was nothing groundbreaking that was going on. We were losing guys. Michigan was never in serious talks with any of the high-end top recruits because at the end of the day, it's cool to sound all high, greater than now, highly and all that because we're not transactional, but transformational. I mean, that sounds great, but at the end of the day, this is a new age, and these guys are not trying to hear that. If you want to be able to be successful in this day and age, you have to get the top end talent. Michigan has done a wonderful job of bringing in diamond in the roughs, guys that are low end recruits, and building them up, coaching them up, developing them into, the players that they are. And that's great. That's all fine and dandy. But let's be honest, at the end of the day, we're not winning a national championship unless we were able to have a 5-star quarterback lead us to a championship. I mean, that's just the facts. So Michigan, I feel, was at a crossroads. Do you still stay along this whole notion of we're not going to develop, we're not going to pay for players, they got to come in, they got to earn it, we're going to lose out on all the high-end, top-end recruits, bring in the other guys and hope that we can build them up? Or are we going to just get into this whole new age where we get into the game of getting top-end recruits? And I guess it took us to struggle on the field. It took us not having a quarterback. It took us being embarrassed on national TV time after time for not only the fan base to get upset, but the alumni base to say enough is enough. We can't allow this to ever happen again. We need to step up. We need to get into this NIL game, and we need to go out. We need to get a quarterback. That's what it took. And to me, that is the breaking point that is going to absolutely turn around this whole trajectory of Michigan football going forward from this point going on. And once that was done, I mean, this whole thing with Bryce was, now that he's committed and now we're seeing all the things that were going on in the background and leading up to it, at the end of the day, it still wouldn't happen if we had not got on this whole thing with the NIL thing, period. And, it's coming out that, he wanted to be at Michigan, but Harbaugh and Weiss kind of almost messed that up. They had a strained relationship, and Moore and Kirk Campbell and all of them had to, regain that trust and that relationship back. And I'm happy that happened. And let me just say that Bryce coming to Michigan is going to have a huge impact on not only where Michigan is going from now until the end of the signing period, but beyond. You're going to get guys now, especially for this recruiting class, that who weren't even necessarily even looking at Michigan, that may sign with Michigan just on the strength of him signing. And you got guys like Meadows, Haywood from Alabama, Owusu Boateng, Alex Graham. Those are just a few. Gompers. You got Andrew Marsh and Olash, who were may not have, decommitted, but were kind of, iffy on the commitment just due to the fact that they weren't sure if they're going to have an elite quarterback to throw them the ball. All that's out the window now. So not only are you going to have elite offensive talent, but you're going to have elite defensive talent wanting to get on this whole ride because of him coming to Michigan. And, that's huge for Michigan. You can now say, okay, well, before we didn't have a quarterback. We had Carter Smith, but let's face it, he was a few years down the line before he would have even been impactful, if at all. Now you got a guy that could step in day one. And I know Michigan is not going to just settle on just Bryce Underwood. I know they say that they're still looking for a top-end portal quarterback, and I think they need to do this. Not because I think Underwood's going to be a bust, or not because I don't think he's going to be ready on day one, but just to take the pressure off of him having to carry this team. You got a guy that can come in and shoulder the load and allow him to develop and still have Michigan be competitive, as well as mentor him, show him the ropes, be almost, not in the same vein as Cade and JJ, because Cade was not a good example because of his whole attitude. But say you had that same situation, but you had a quarterback that actually was not like Cade in his attitude, that's a perfect situation for Michigan. And, going forward, you're going to have guys that are going to want to play, with Bryce. Then you got Brady Hart that's going to be coming after Bryce. So you're going to, this is just going to set up hopefully for strings of Michigan high-end, not only talent, but Michigan, not only from quarterback talent, but just offensive and defensive talent, just by the mere fact that we pulled in high-end talent and our NIL game is now legitimate. Like I said, in the past, guys were not taking us seriously, or they may have been interested, but when you got other teams, throwing bags at you, are you going to be, are you interested in just coming to a team and, having to earn it? Or if someone gives you upfront money, are you going to take it? That's how we lost out on a couple of our recruits to Miami. Guys just literally just wanting a bag up front. Now, is that the best approach? No, but that's how things are going. That's the way that college football is heading. So it's either you get in the game or you get left behind. So I'm excited, really excited for us getting Bryce Underwood. Like I said, I'm not going to say I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was very skeptical. He seemed at the time content to go to LSU. And, you know, just reading different places saying that, you know, it wasn't about the money, he was more interested in being developed. I saw the Crane and Company interview where he straight up dissed Michigan in that line. And, you know, I pretty much reserved the fact that he wasn't gonna come. But, you know, time heals all wounds, and obviously Michigan's game plan worked. They played the long game, and in the end, it wasn't a race, it was a marathon, and they won out at the end. So, you know, like I said, it's been a bad year, but this puts the cherry on the top. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future. 2025 is looking great. 2026 is just getting started. But if things come through like I think they are, and based off of the talent that has already come in and is looking to come in, and based off of pulling in Bryce and all these other top end talents, and based off of our NIL game, I think that Michigan is going to look to be getting top 5, top 3 recruiting classes going forward for a good while. And that's really, really exciting news. So anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a like on the video. Leave a cool blue in the comment section below. And if you enjoy my content, definitely subscribe to the channel. Anyways, thank you for watching. And as always, go blue.